going on, you guys? My name is Matt, and this is a show where I talk about the coolest cards that I saw sell this week. They are all error cards, they are cool Pokemon cards, and I think it's pretty darn interesting. That's why I've been doing it for 41 freaking weeks. Now let's get right into this week's episode. Kicking things off, I see an error. More than one error, I'll explain. Kicking things off, we have a first edition Haunter from Fossil Set, and this got graded a PSA 9. Now when I say I saw an error, I see the non-error card is not first edition. My bad. Bad start to the week, that's alright though. But the card on the right, the error card, that is a mirror holo. So basically there are no stars in that holo, and this has been known to happen on all of the Wizards of the Coast cards. At least all of the holos, not all of them, but some of them. Now Matt, get back to this. $900. This card sold for $900 this week. Holy cow, you can see it was listed as the best accepted offer price, $1,900 down to $900. That's a lot of money. Okay, so an average non-error first edition Haunter from Fossil Set holo goes for around $130 in a grade 9. I messed that up. I did the standard edition, so this math is wrong. I will correct it in editing, maybe. And yeah, not a good start to the episode, but you can see the sparkly stars here are not there. Very cool card, and $900 is a lot of money for this Pokemon card. This card was supposed to be number 6 this week, but I don't think that's the case anymore. Good lord, Matt, get your crap together. Alright, next up we have a base set 2 Potion. This is a trainer card, and one that typically does not sell for a lot of money, but you know why it sells for a lot of money now? It's because the back is inverted and misaligned. So you can see this Pokeball is upside down and is shifted pretty severely down and to the right. And you can see an alignment dot there in the top left corner. And boy, what a cool one. This shows a good portion of another card here too. Just a very misaligned back. Now misaligned is where the back is completely wonky or the front is wonky, but the other side is completely normal. So yeah, and as expected, a grade 8.5 typically doesn't go for too much, around $8. And so the error value increase for this card, by the way, this one sold for $190. The EVI, error value increase, is 2,275%. That's good enough for number 4 this week. Boy, we got a lot of big ones here right away. Next up, we have a basic Grass Energy, and I'm going to make a call here. I think this is the most error-prone card of all time. Whatever it is about it, the amount of cards I've seen of these basic energies, maybe just because it's so many printed of them, whatever it is, I've seen them miscut crazily. I've seen low ink errors. Now we have the double print error on the back here. For some reason, this card just gets effed up all the time. So in this case, you can see the back of the card is a double print error, where one of the print lines gets misaligned, and it makes it look like it's like a 3D effect, or like you've had too much to drink and you take a look at your old Pokemon cards and you're just seeing double of everything. Well, you're not seeing double here. This is actually the card. And this one sold for $15.29 once we do that conversion from Great British Pounds. And average non-error price, it says 14 cents on price charting, but as you know, I like to factor in shipping, so I have the floor as 99 cents. So given that information, we have an error value increase of 1,444%, which is good enough for number 7 this week. Hey, next up we have a Ghost Stamp Pikachu. I always like to brag about that. And if you don't know what the Ghost Stamp is, essentially is it's an ink error or missing ink error where the D and the 1 in first edition are completely missing, and the rest of it is basically just like very, very faint. This is a repeating error, and it was only found in the Gold Stripe Shadowless Zap theme decks. So there was a specific deck that came out, and they're pretty rare. Whenever you see them, they sell for a lot. Now, there's a couple reasons for that. One, again, because of the rarity, there's not that many out there. But two, the standard edition of this is a first edition Pikachu. So you know, that already sells for a lot by itself. You can see average non-error price for a first edition Yellow Cheeks Pikachu is around $90. So this one here, the Ghost Stamp Error, sold for $253. Sold in auction. That's always fun. And this one's in pretty good condition too. Maybe a little bit of fraying there on the back, on the bottom left, but overall the card's not in too bad of shape. And again, I always like this one, again, because I got mine so damn cheap. But yeah, EVI is nothing crazy, and you can see here actually a ungraded average price for this. Now this could be off a little bit because price charting is usually behind the times with error cards, but this is usually sells for $259, so only $6 off of what the average is, which is kind of cool. Shows you there is some consistency in the market. All right, next up we have a Trubbish. This looks like this fella had way too much to drink and woke up in the alley the next day. And this specific one woke up feeling a little bit gaunt too, which is not good. Yes, this card on the right here is an additional, I would guess, yellow ink or cyan. What would that be? Probably yellow. Whatever it is, it's covering the whole card, and that's pretty neat. Got graded by CGC and got a 7.5. Got that error label there, and didn't sell for too much. I think that's because Trubbish really is not that valuable of a Pokemon card. So even with a cool error like this, it's not going to add that much value. You can see average non-error prices $8 for a 7.5, which was actually just my guess because apparently there's no grade lower than a 9 out there, because people get it and they send it in, and must be a very easy card to grade too. So yeah, not crazy high EVI, but a cool card, because a cool error card, just because it really does affect the whole card. It's pretty severe, so always cool to see that. Now here is a freaking classic. Here we have a base set Abra with the Jet Plane error. If you are unfamiliar, this is an ink dot error that is a repeating error, meaning it shows up on several different cards in the exact same spot, and it's that little ink dot there to the left of the tree, and it looks like a fighter jet plane. It's pretty cool. Look above me here, you can see there is a little bit of a close-up there, and these sell for a lot. A lot. We do not have average error price for this, but it's always you'll see these sell in the hundreds to $200 to $300 raw. This one sold for a little bit less due to maybe just being in auction, and also maybe the condition a little bit. But yeah, $140 for a basic Pokemon card, that's pretty freaking incredible, and I always love talking about these ones. So yeah, this one sold for $139.50. Average non-error price $1.74. That gives us a 7,917% EVI. And that's good enough for number 2 this week. Alright, next up, this one sold for a lot of money. Here we have a Torchic. Now this is from EX Rocket Returns, and I believe this was one of the biggest chase cards. This is a gold star. I know all the other gold stars sell for a lot, and this one's no exception. And this got graded as CGC 8.5, and this is an additional ink error. And the additional ink is, if you look above me, you can see a close-up of it. There's like a red smear over the SCA in discard, and over the star too. And boy, is that one cool. Holy cow, that's a lot of money it added. I know EVI is 27%, but yeah, $600 for this little ink smear here. That's freaking incredible. So yeah, the sale price was $3,057. Holy cow, that's a lot of money. I don't have much more to say about it. You know, it's a big chase card, and to have errors on these chase cards is pretty incredible. I hope the sale actually went through, because I know sometimes people can back out of sales when they're this high of an amount, but I think because it's the best accepted offer price, that means it's probably a higher chance to go through. But either way, what an incredible card. And a cool error, one I've not seen before. I don't think I've talked about Torchic on this channel before. But boy, have I talked about this one before. Here we have a base set Wartortle with an evolution box error. Take the big Wartortle, shrink it down, put it in the stage 1 there. Should not be there, but it is. A cool repeating error. And this PSA 7 sold for $165 this week. Yeah, one that I think is on everyone's radar when they see a Wartortle. You always think, oh, you know, like there definitely could be a tiny Wartortle there, and so kind of hard to find this one out in the wild without someone knowing. Maybe if you buy someone's collection, someone's childhood collection, and they haven't looked at it in 20 years, it's kind of your better chance to find one of these. Hey, look, another Wartortle. Okay, so here we have a Top Sun Wartortle with the no number error. Essentially, this error is where in the pink box there, next to the Japanese name on the left, there is no number there. This is a repeating error and said to be in 50 of the original blue backs cards. So this card has a blue back, and 50 of the, I'm not sure if all 151 were printed for Top Sun, but yeah, 50 of them contain this error, and usually adds a good bit of value to it. A good bit of value to it. Yeah, this one sold for $728. You can see that made the EVI around 500%. Okay, next one is one I'm a little bit skeptical of for several reasons, maybe just one. So this is a base set Charizard and is advertised as a foil error, and I think that foil error is meant to be a mirror hollow error. Now, these are very, very hard to tell. I can't tell you how many times I've seen eBay listings where it's just a head-on of a card, and I think, by golly, did I find a mirror hollow? And it's always, no, I did not. They're extremely rare, and when you do see them, you got to make sure there's a video or at least like 10 different angles of the photo of the hollow to see it from different angles, because it's very hard to tell. And this one only had 2 photos, I believe, and it sure looks like it, like from right here, but you know, that could be the case where it's definitely not. Now, all things considered, this Charizard, base set Charizard's in good shape, so I see average non-error price here is around $190. This price can vary so much for a base set Charizard, but you definitely see the cleaner ones, even non-errors, go for $300, $400 just due to what the price can do if you get to that higher grade level. So, yeah, I can't really confirm if this is a mirror hollow or not. Looks like the seller, always positive reviews, and they have 43,000 reviews, so they've sold a lot, so maybe they know what they're talking about. Other thing though, I have this thing pushing that I haven't pushed too hard recently. If you are buying or selling an error card on eBay, have your listing or your bid end in 22. You can see this one ended in 21. If it ends in 22, that will let me know that my viewers and watchers are listening to me, and I just want to be heard. So go out and do that if you can. It's not that much of an ask, but you don't have to. That's okay. Either way, yeah, so if this is an error, kudos to whoever bought it, because this is a clean Charizard. But if it's not, that's okay too, because it's a clean Charizard. If you get graded, you'll probably make your money back plus some. So yeah, cool card if it's an error. If it's not, I have egg on my face. Alright, next up we have a Dark Dragonite from Team Rocket set. This is a non-hollow Dark Dragonite. But the error is, it's called the non-hollow error, actually. So in the bottom right corner, it says 582. This should say 2282 for the non-hollow, but the non-hollow has the numbers for the hollow. I hope that made sense. I think I was pretty clear. And yeah, it sold for $178.79. Now that's a lot. You'll see these in the top 10 pretty frequently, but it will never be jet plane error Abra level, just because the average non-error price is a decent bit higher. $9 for average non-error price, just because this is a vintage a vintage rare, and so yeah, $9 is a pretty fair asking rate for this. But yeah, very cool error, a cool repeating error, and you always see it sell for a lot. And with this 1900% EVI, that's good enough for number 5 this week. So here we have a legit mirror hollow, or as CGC calls it, an incomplete hollow pattern, error, you know, whatever you want to call it, it's good with me. And this is a Articuno from Fossil set. Now, I have not seen an Articuno with a mirror hollow error, and I'm glad I have. If I have the sense to, I'll show the video from the eBay listing too. And boy, I think Articuno is just the most fitting card to have a mirror hollow, just with how clean and pure the background is. You can think of it as like a sheet of ice or like a snowed out blizzard or something. But yeah, just an awesome card. Look at that. And the CGC7 is not bad. I'm always happy to see these vintage cards get higher grades, to know that someone took care of them throughout the years. And yeah, the EVI, nothing groundbreaking, but 600%. So that's pretty cool. But overall, this is just an incredible card. Alrighty, next up we have another base set War Turtle with the Evolution Box Error, but that's got graded the PSA 9. That's a high grade for this one. I imagine the population for this is pretty low. Holy cow, very cool to see. And this sold for a lot. This sold for $573.10. Holy cow, you can see average average error price for this. $400. That's what it said for the longest time with price charting, and I feel like these error prices were recorded when Pokemon was worth a little bit more. Just the prices tended to be upward a little bit, and it hadn't really seemed like we've gotten back to that price yet. But this one just smashed through that like crazily. $573. That is a lot of money. You can see average non-error price, which is also kind of surprising to me, for a grade 9 base set War Turtle is $37.50. So that gives us a 1428% EVI. And that's good enough for number 8 this week. Wow. Congrats to the seller on that one. That's an awesome one. You must have held out for a while to get that price. I understand the woes of trying to have a card sell for a lot, and it's difficult sometimes when you have a little bit higher price tag. Next up, we have a first edition Butterfree with the D error. This is from Jungle Set, and the error is the 1 in first edition looks like a D thanks to a printer hickey. And we saw a PSA 10 sell last week, and what did it sell for? 200 something? I think it was close to 265, but this one sold for 350 this week. Is it due to the holidays? Are people buying lavish gifts for their loved ones? That'd be pretty cool if they are. But yeah, we're seeing the prices go up for a couple of these. You can see EVI is still nothing crazy, 124%, but that added $200 of value to this card, so that's pretty neat. Okay, I need all of my big brain viewers to let me know if this is legit. I saw this pop up and I had to talk about it. I really hope this is a legit Pokemon card and legit error, because this would be one of the more fascinating things I've ever seen. Google was no help in finding an answer, but here we have a Japanese Blaine's Charizard, and this is the green leaf error. You know, obviously Charizard is a fire type, but this says it's a grass type on the error card. This sold in auction for $104.50, and Lord, please let this be true, because that is so freaking cool. Congrats to whoever bought that. That is incredible. I don't have much more to say about it. You can look above me here. You can see there is the leaf symbol. Now, it looks legit to me. I don't know. Just like, I just hope it is. There's not a crazy high EVI here or anything. You know, sold in auction and whatnot, but I just hope this is true. I think the world would be a better place knowing that this is a legit error. Hopefully a repeating error too, because I would love to personally have one, but just love to see more sell like this. So let me know, you big brains. Next up, we have a Jungle Vaporeon. This is a holo, and this is the no set symbol error. This got graded a CGC 10. So a perfect CGC 10. That's pretty neat. And it sold for $607 with a consignment shop, so in auction with 53 bids. And you can see average non-error price for a CGC 10 is $275. So we got quite a bit more value for this, but we always have to direct our attention to what the PSA pricing is. It's just kind of crazy too. So even just a standard PSA 10 Jungle Vaporeon non-error sells for $2,000 for a PSA 10. The error actually sells for less. So it just kind of shows sometimes when you get to these higher grade arena where there's a lower population, anything can really happen. You know, you can see we saw one no symbol PSA 10 sell for $1,500 last week. So I guess Vaporeon is one of the less valuable cards from Jungle Set, but still very interesting to see how much that price can fluctuate. Again, obviously, the conditions of it being in auction have to do with that a little bit, but still very interesting to deep dive in. Hey, another Ghost Stamp Pikachu. And this one, same consignment shop, but so this is a PSA 9, and this one sold for $759. That's a lot of money. Dang. So nothing crazy with the EVI here. You know what the error is already, but it's also kind of interesting. Average grade 9 for this sells for $750, so only $9 off. Again, I think this is just fascinating how sometimes the market can be so consistent. Again, I don't know if people are just really doing their research when they're buying this. I feel like you almost have to when you're spending, you know, $750 on a Pokemon card. But yeah, very interesting. Next up, we have a Charmander from Pokemon Evolutions, the 2016 set, and this is a square cut error. Now we got two corners with a square cut, top left and bottom left. If you are unaware, the error occurs basically when you're cutting a Pokemon card. There's two different steps for it. First one cuts it out of the uncut sheet, and so it has square corners, and the second one rounds the corners, and so something happened in that process where two of the corners did not get cut. I'm curious how that happens, how two get cut but two did not get cut without like damaging the card or whatever. But yeah, cool to see. I always like to talk about these square cut errors. Nothing groundbreaking with the price or anything, or the EVI, but yeah, cool one to see. $46 and had 4 bids this week. Okay, I'm talking about this card selfishly for a couple of reasons. So this is a CD promo Porygon, a Japanese card, and this has a Hollow Bleed. Now, Japanese cards, especially vintage hollows, are very, very well known for their Hollow Bleeds. Most of the time, it's almost a 50-50 split, whether you see the gray dots on the card, you just kind of popping around here. And then it's rare to see the actual hollow poke through, but it happens enough where I don't think it adds that much value. And so when I saw this pop up in these sold listings for Air Pokemon cards, I was like, you know, let me take a look. The reason I say this is because when I was first getting into Error cards, there was a huge lot of Japanese cards. They were trainer cards from the trainer set. What was that? Whatever it is. Yeah, I'll just get it. And they're all like very, very strong Hollow Bleeds. And so I was like, oh wow, are these actually adding value to the cards? Now obviously this was sold as a best accepted offer price, so one could surmise that this was sitting for a while, but this sold for $75. That's a lot. Like, I'd be sitting on a small fortune here if these all sold for that much. I know they won't, but yeah, that's pretty incredible. So I might give this a shot and try to sell some of these, because if I can get half of the EVI for each of these that this one got, that would be awesome. But yeah, so this EVI got is 956%. Average error price is $7.10. So that 956 is good enough for number 10 this week. You know, I might even do a better job after this. I'll take a video of each of these cards and show the Hollow Bleed for them, because they are cool, and I did such a bad job showing them there. I might even just cut that out. Next up, I thought this was going to be top 10 for sure. Here we have a base set Machoke with a fat bottom miscut. Play the music just for a second. Alright, good. We're good there. So it's definitely fatter on the bottom and fatter on the right too. So it's shifted up and to the left. And I thought I saw the best, or like $98 or best offer. I was like, oh boy, this one's gonna be a absolute home run, and sold for $10. I think that's definitely fair with the fact that you don't see an alignment dot here, and also the card's not in the best shape. But I was just thinking, like, boy, this EVI is gonna go crazy. But no, 400%. But you know, I like my miscuts here, so I just thought it was kind of funny too, just to just the difference in what it actually sold for what it was listed for. But that goes to show, if you see a card that's either listed for a long time or whatnot, shoot your shot. See if you can get the price down quite a bit for the card. If it's something you don't think you'd want, but you know, for the right price, you would definitely take it. Offer it. I'm sure sellers are always happy to deny an offer, but sometimes they might take it too. So, all right. Next up, we have another Dark Dragonite. Same error and everything. PSA 6, and the EVI for this one is 1,072%, and that is thanks to a $305 sale. Sold in auction, 2 bidders, and that EVI of 1,072 is good enough for number 9 this week. All right, next up we have one. This is a Sharpedo, and this is from, doesn't say, 2023. I'm so bad at my modern sets, I apologize. And this is an ink dot error. No, this is a printer hickey. This is a printer hickey, and a very large one. Now, if this is from the same set where the Magikarp and the War Turtle have that large printer hickey, this one might be repeating. I don't know if that's the case where if it's on one card, it probably showed up on several different cards because of just how they print so many sheets all together. So maybe this is a repeating error. If you've seen this before, let me know. But yeah, it helped. It added a decent bit of value to the card. You can see it typically sells for $1, and this one sold for $28.60. And so the EVI is 2,800%, and that's good enough for number 3 this week. Alright, next up we have a Haunter from Fossil Set, and this is the Blue Stain error. This is definitely one of the cooler repeating errors. You can look above me there. There's a different angle of the card that shows the error better. Basically, the blue ink smear that goes all the way through from Haunter's left hand and to the right of the art box there a little bit. So a very cool one, and that EVI of 950% is number 11. Just got edged out. But yeah, sold for $128 this week. That's pretty neat. Given, you know, the card's in decent shape, but just kind of shows for how valuable that card is. And yeah, no repeating error price information for this one. Okay, so you know I'm not good at modern cards, but yeah, so this card this week is one I'd never heard of, and now here I am talking about it because it is number 1 card. So here we have a Whiscash. I can definitely guess this is a water-type Pokemon, but besides for that, I don't know much more. From 2022, Astral Radiance, and you can see this is just a crazy miscut. What would that be? 25% of another card is attached to this card, and we have 4 visible printer hickeys. We have 4 visible alignment dots, 2 in the bottom left and 2 in the bottom right in the back of the card. And yeah, it's always weird with these severe miscuts from these modern sets. If you sell them in auction, you know, you're guaranteed to sell it quickly, but the price might not be what you want it to be. And if you list it for best accepted offer price and you put it high, you might not get someone buying it for like a year. Maybe this person set this price right when the set came out, so this has been up for a couple years. I don't know, but yeah, it's you gotta wait. But if you wait long enough, you can get a high sale price for it. And you can see this one was listed for $200, sold for $115. The average non-error price for this is $1.24. So that gives us a 9,174% EVI. And that's good enough for number 1 this week. Very cool. Always love seeing these crazy miscut cards. I think a lot of you enjoy them too. Well, that's it. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.